Oh my gosh, everybody, Kuso6rande, the bad video game tournament is all about the pain in the video game world that has been released on various consoles. Simply put, we have an emulator that manages to emulate tons of different environments. I mean, yesterday we quote-unquote had a PlayStation portable game. I have to add that in there because that was something special. We've had a lot of excitement, and we are on to the final game of today. What will we end up with? I will let you know in just 1 second after I hit my macro button. Run, Excel, run! Oh, it ran. It worked. Okay, thank you so much, Excel. You can go away now. So let's go ahead and hope that it actually updated the way that I wanted. Please welcome on in our GM for the last game of this Sunday, Tempestral. 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 Come on in, come on in. Tempestral. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Pretty dang good. I'm ready to see some dreams crushed. Or something. Because, yeah, that's what it seems.
I'm not eliminating anyone with this game, but if I were, it would be really funny. This is probably okay. I was gonna give out a game that I hadn't previously given out because this is a new game plus round, and I was like,
yes.
I don't want to give out a game that I gave out because I have a back catalog of literally 1 year. And I wanted to give out Perfect Weapon. I'm just gonna say.
That is.
Well, yeah, you said that last time I showed off this game. I want to give it Perfect Weapon. It's a really awful 3D beat 'em up. But it turns out that all the levels past the first one are kind of non-linear, and they would be really sort of inconvenient to track.
Oh yeah, I know this one. Okay, I looked it up. Yeah, I've played this.
So you can probably guess what the game is that I'm going to replace it with.
Ooh, yeah. Any guesses real quick, chat? You've got like 5 seconds because we're going to review it. 5, 4, reveal it. 3, 2, 1. What is the game?
It's the Crow City of Angels, my favorite game that I've given out this year.
Oh, yeah. We are.
So bad.
And yeah, it turns out that a couple people guessed it, and everybody is ready for this.
Yeah.
So, based off of the reactions here, excited.
And you might ask, now Tempestral, did you go and like play more of this game afterwards? No, what happened was I feel comfortable giving this out right now because between then, which was back in like March, I think, or like early April, between then and now, Ecdysis, who a big shout out to Ecdysis, love that guy. Went and did a speed run of this on a little marathon you may have heard of called Big Bad Game-a-thon. And so I literally have his run up here for comparison's sake in case it becomes unclear at some point. Like, ooh, I think it's probably not going to be that hard to tell who's ahead, but I have this for reference material. So I need to learn the speed run for this so that I can race him at my run clearly.
That's right. We have this this tournament based off of the shoulders of giants and sometimes giraffes. As a matter of fact, Ecdysis did the run in Big Bad Game-a-thon with the giraffe head mode, where everyone's necks were huge, and it's so beautiful.
It's so hideous. It's hideous.
Okay, that's another word you can use. Hideous, beautiful, whatever.
It was really. Oh man, it's hard to look at. This is. It's funny, you know. I played some of Perfect Warrior today, and all I could remark was while playing it was, man, this is a lot better than the Crow. Like,
really?
It's just. It's so. Well, the scope of the game is larger. Like the actual controls, don't feel more. I don't know if they feel. They feel less fluid. No, they feel more fluid. They are harder to use because there are more moves you can do. but in, you know, the you can do more moves, and the animations are better, and it sounds and looks better. Part of that is that this was a PlayStation only game and not PlayStation and Saturn, but like, it's not a good game by any means, but it's a better game than this.
That is fair enough. Okay, it looks like Shrambles and Polk are just chilling. Polk is ready to begin, and Shrambles is typing right now. So obviously we need emote spams. What emotes should chat spam?
Crows. You should crows. Birds. And ninjas, zombies, giraffes, I suppose. Yeah, I was ready. A lot of physically ready. Emotionally, who knows?
Yeah, that's what Shrambles said. And definitely.
I don't blame him.
Yeah. Oh, I can't really blame anybody for not being ready for the Crow City of Angles. I mean, based off of the polygons, that's might be what
the Crow City of Angle or City of Devil. Or City of I can be your City of Angle or your City of Devil.
I love it.
Oh, that's
As a confirmation, I have started the timer in Discord this time, so that's good.
So this game is a problem.
What's the problem?
It's just so bad. It's also a problem that I forgot to pick up the player streams on multi-Twitch. I'm doing that now.
I've got it going through Discord if you want.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's useful.
Bruh. However, you won't hear audio just because you'll be hearing yourself if you do.
I can hear their audio.
Wait.
Oh, I can hear myself. Nope.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
I'm just gonna pull up my own multi-Twitch.
That's fine. Bruh.
Oh. In the match we did before.
Yes.
We had 3 players in that match, and Salamiri got to the boat and didn't beat the boat. And I considered starting them on the boat, but the boat has it starts off with, like, we'd seen most of that level already, and the boat starts off with 3 guys with handguns, and handguns are really hard to deal with if you don't have a basic grasp on the controls.
Oh, did I? No, I didn't turn on the wrong audio. I've got Polk's. Somebody said that they thought that Shrambles had the audio, but no, this is definitely Polk's audio. See?
Either player did say that they could do audio.
I'm just hovering over it to prove I didn't mess up for once. But honestly, considering how bad the audio is in this, I don't... Like, I completely understand why people thought it might be coming from the wrong side.
It's pretty awful. You have Polk's audio on? Okay.
Yep. I love that the damage sound effect is bruh.
Yeah, here we are. So it is mind-boggling that the same company who gave us Turok Dinosaur Hunter with its tight, accurate polygons, because that's absolutely how that works, could also release this turkey the very same month. A claim I say unto you, have you no shame? Simply put, the Crow City of Angels is one of the worst titles I've ever seen. Avoid all contact with this game. Should contact occur, immediately rinse with water and consult a physician. F. Game Revolution. Okay. So, like, they weren't the developers, they were the publishers. I get that publishers, I think, should have maybe a responsibility to publish quality content and hold their developers accountable to, like, making good games. At the same time, they aren't the developers.
When you gotta shovel out a game in order for a deadline, guess what happens? You get this.
They're arms. I thought they were boomerangs. They are arms, aren't they?
They're
awesome.
Boomer arms.
Hardcore.
The arms of boomers. Boomer arm.
Oh no. Claim have you no shame. Yeah, as if we didn't already know the answer by then.
The answer is they don't.
No. They are arms. Looking at them closer, I can definitely see, like, I have a larger video feed here and I can see that they're definitely arms. God, that's unfortunate.
No, it's like The Walking Dead, except it's just the dead don't walk. Well, you're dead, aren't you? Aren't you dead in this game?
Yeah, in this scenario, you're dead and everyone else is actually alive until you make them not alive. Polk has defeated all of the enemies in this section and now has to progress. But for whatever reason, the game hasn't. Oh no, there is a little. I think the crow icon, there it is, showing you where to go. Boop, yeah. There you are.
Let me go ahead and say, you brought up that the company that made this was a different developer from the Turok one, and that's right. The Turok devs actually, I think, worked on some worse games than this, like Zero, the Kamikaze Squirrel, Arrow, the Acrobat.
Oh, no!
1 and 2.
Arrow is fine. Look.
Trash.
Don't bully Arrow.
Okay,
It's
Arrow
not good.
is like 50 times worse than Zero, the Kamikaze Squirrel. It's so bad.
Yes.
Batman Forever,
Really?
huh?
Oh, man.
Batman Forever for
the Turok
arcade
devs worked on
PlayStation. Okay, the PlayStation version of that.
Wait. Turok Dinosaur Hunter.
Made by Iguana Entertainment.
Iguana. You know what's funny is I just said, oh, but Acclaim wasn't the developer, they were the publisher, but I think of Turok as being an Acclaim game. So there you go. I'm guilty of it too.
Yeah, see? Whereas Gray Matter, the
did.
makers of this game, okay, because we had the scale of quality for Iguana that made Turok an absolute classic, Gray Matter that made this game made other classics like The Ren and Stimpy Show, Vidiots, Wayne's World, a Terminator game. Oh my gosh, Technocop.
Yeah, so also
Captain
consider
Planet.
that.
Oh,
You know, I was gonna say, oh, but like the folks who made Turok also made NBA Jam, and then I'm looking at the rest of it, and Iggy's Wrecking Balls, which is actually, I think, is underrated. And then they also made South Park, for the, for N64. So that's pretty rough.
Yeah,
Like
I would say that's
like the bad one.
Every company develops some bad games. It's
Oh
just
no!
that Gray Matter Incorporated that made this pretty much only made trash.
Yeah, and they're from Oakville, which is really disappointing. They're from Ontario. Like, that's my province. I know where Oakville is. I've been there. Like, it's a point of pride for me to like, oh, Canadian developers, awesome. I love that. I want to you know, say nice things about them, but I can't. And I also just went and looked and saw that Iguana also made Vex, which says a lot.
I don't know what that is.
It's basically Super Mario 64 if it was edgy.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine Mario with goth makeup? Oh,
well,
goth Mario.
Let me share with you an image of the cover of Vex.
Oh, please do. I need to see this. By the way, Shrambles is game over.
It's basically Super Mario 64 if it was really terrible. Like just mechanically, it's not. Didn't Gray Matter work on Return to Castle Wolfenstein? I don't know if they did.
Like, I don't see it on their list, but maybe I am. I don't know.
To be clear, I think Vex has a lot of charm, but it's not good, right? Like, it's really frustrating because it really has like, I don't know. It comes from that era of games that I grew up in where there's so many games from that time period that I feel like are like so close to being interesting, but they were ultimately really derivative. Or games that were interesting.
I found an image. Yeah, let me go ahead and put this thing up because I would agree with you. This is Goth Mario 64, just based off of the cover alone.
But I'd rather play Vex or Knack. I'd rather play Vex simply because it is inspired. It's not particularly well inspired, but it's inspired. Whereas Knack is really soulless, I think, which a shame. Again, Knack had a concept that was actually pretty solid and just squandered it with really dull, drawn out, uninteresting gameplay, which is really unfortunate.
Well, here we are. There's Vex, the edgelord of the 3D platforming gear.
Visually, he doesn't really look like Super Mario 64, but mechanically, the game plays like it's a collectathon that happens to be edgy.
I love it.
You can tell this is a game for the PlayStation 2. Like, you wouldn't have to you could have removed the PlayStation 2 header and it would be very obvious what system this was for. Also,
Well, yeah,
Xbox
yeah.
and GameCube.
Oh, yeah, sure. Xbox, they're like, we need more of this. Oh, give me all your Vex. Vex 2, Vex 3, just don't put 3 of the X's in the name and we'll be fine. We're good.
Yeah.
Or maybe
They use
do. I don't care. I'm Xbox.
They use a font that kind of looks like that in their text too, in all the like dialogue. It's really interesting, and by interesting I mean a really bad decision.
Yeah, like the only game that I can kind of forgive that for is the original Diablo. That font was like legendary, but very rarely does it end up working out. Yeah, because unique fonts that you can tell come from a specific game are usually unreadable fonts.
Well, yeah, like there's a distinction between like display fonts and the fonts that you would want to use, like fonts for a logo, and the font that you would want to use for readable text.
Yep.
God, a fan sub Helsing that used the Diablo font for subtitles. I mean, yeah, that would be really thematically cool and also look awful.
I hate that. That is perfect. Stick with Comic Sans. No.
Comic Sans is readable. Comic Sans is readable.
Has its purposes.
I don't like Comic Sans, but it is readable, and in the correct circumstances, it is, I think, an appropriate choice. The Papyrus is the real one that is
Papyrus.
awful.
I would say the Comic Sans in a non-professional setting is fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Papyrus is never fine. And do you know how many logos there are that like I've seen around town that are Papyrus?
Oh, I'm sure that a ton. In fact, I think it was this very game, the last time we played this game on stream, where we had people playing this game on stream, we were talking about Comic Sans and Papyrus, and you brought up this exact fact. Yes, Jeff. Yes, Jeff. The skeletons, Papyrus, and Sans in Undertale are named after the fonts.
Yes,
which is why they speak. It's why they speak in those fonts in the game.
Sans uses the Comic Sans font, and Papyrus uses the Papyrus font. And now, like, I know you're not the only person who get it, but anybody who hasn't gotten it by this point, your mind is blown.
Oh yeah, you're one of today's lucky 10,000. Congrats.
Yeah. And it's okay. Like, honestly, other people in chat, feel free to acknowledge that too, because I completely believe some people would miss it.
Oh, is he really named for Wingdings? Interesting.
Who is?
W.D. Gaster, a character who has received far more development in alternate universe fiction that I unfortunately know about than has ever received development in game. He's a character that shows up for like 2 frames in a single room and looks spooky, basically.
Yeah, that's...
and everyone goes, oh, he's a real character. No, he's an image that appears for 2 frames in a room because Toby Fox thought he wanted to be spooky. It's cool and all.
I think I recall that, yeah.
I spent, and look, I'm not going to knock on those people. You know what? Do what makes you happy. I was hanging out with a friend in VR chat the other day, and we were...
Oh, no. Keep going.
On your knees. Very good friend of mine, love him to bits, and we were going to we went into like a little Undertale themed like plaza world with a bunch of like custom avatars. It was really nice, really well put together. I was actually really happy with it, but it also had like every single one of them was from like a fan game or some fan alternate universe story, and he just kept popping into these new avatars and being like, okay, so this character is a mix between these 2 fan versions of Sans, and here's each of their respective backstories. And I was like, man, you were really into Undertale at one point. And he was like, yeah, I really was. It was entertaining. I wasn't laughing at it. I was just sort of like, yeah, this is all right, fair enough. It's something I'm just completely unfamiliar with.
I would say that, you know, it is fine for people to love what they love, and feel free to do that. Never let anybody, even if people joke about it, it's fine. Love what you love. However, I am completely understanding of people who, I would say, do not judge media by the fandom. Okay?
No, absolutely.
Absolutely what?
I agree.
them?
I agree.
Oh.
No. Don't judge people for the fandom, because like, look, if I judged stuff for the fans around them, then I would like have. Well, I guess I wouldn't say I'd never have played Portal, because I played that game when it came out, but like I sure wouldn't be playing Portal now. Or Undertale, Undertale, which may not be your game, but I think it has merit for sure.
Honestly, I think that it's because of the fans that I haven't played the Deltarune games yet. I guess I should, but
I need to play. I don't think I finished Deltarune 1, and I haven't played 2, but it's a big step up in quality over Undertale, I think, and I really should go and play it, because I really liked Deltarune Chapter 1 when I played it.
Yeah, I would say that, I'm glad that the fans exist, but I really need to, like, not think about them when playing the game. There's a reason that I've never even given Rick and Morty a shot.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure if that's necessarily a bad thing that I haven't given it a shot. It's just I never have, specifically because of the fandom.
And here's the thing. I was going to bring up Rick and Morty. I think Rick and Morty is pretty funny. I can't speak for the more recent series. I've only seen seasons 1 and 2. But I thought it was pretty good. But God, I hate interacting with people who like Rick and Morty. They're the worst.
I have one friend who does and is actually a fanfic writer for Rick and Morty.
No, see, there you go.
Actually a /fic writer for Rick and Morty. And she's cool, but like, just because of the rest of the fandom, I can't. Let's talk about older things that people were fans of. SpongeBob, I specifically did not watch because of how annoying people were about
That's
it.
interesting.
Yeah.
I never watched it as a kid because I was under the impression, I don't know where I got this idea from, that it was like really like sort of infantile, and then I watched it, and okay, it can be at times, but
it's so good.
At least for the first several seasons, it's actually really good, and then eventually the quality went the way it did.
I've seen like 2 episodes ever.
Yeah, okay, so someone else mentioned
really
Portal too.
Good. They were so good, but I just could never bring myself to watch it. So everybody, I would say that if you love something, that is completely fine, because there are things that are good that have absolutely trash fans. Just it's fine to not be one of those. You don't have to be part of the fandom to be a fan.
Yeah. And then every once in a while you'll meet something where the fans are really obnoxious, like Twilight, and then you pick it up and go, well, maybe the book is fine, and you read one page and, like me, put it back on the shelf because it actually is genuinely horrible.
Thank you, Utah, for Twilight. Very many thanks.
And I don't want to say anything about Stephanie Meyer. By all accounts, she's a very nice person.
I would say that she reached an audience. There we go. And
absolutely, absolutely. I don't think the writing is very good, but I don't really want to make any like value judgments of Stephanie Meyer as a person, because she received a lot of hate for those books, undeservedly. Oh man. Polk is struggling to get past some invisible geometry, I believe, which very commonly happens in this game. We've spent 17 minutes not talking about the Crow City of Angels.
That's perfect.
Sonic Boom, the TV show.
Even less time talking about it.
Sonic Boom, the TV show, unironically exceptional. I love that TV show. It's so good.
A tiny bit of it. Just
it has no reason to be as good as it is. It's like written by people who are clearly huge fans of the Sonic franchise and actually want to see it do its best. And if those people were writing the games, I assure you they would be better, but they're not.
Yeah. I think
it's so frustrating.
I think this is part of the we've got an interesting community here, Tempest Stroll, that because people here are big fans of bad video games, hence the reason we've been sitting here not watching a game for 17 minutes.
I've been watching. I just haven't been paying
I've been watching too. I think Polk is passing Shrambles at this point, so a little bit of progress on Polk's part. With that said, at the same time, we don't get like irrationally like over the top with things, and people here have a diversity of interests, and it's not just all about bad games and the only thing that we talk about. We have a wide variety of interests in the community, and I think that helps to keep it both less toxic as well as like more enjoyable. Because one of the weirdest things to me that happens sometimes is like if I meet somebody from like at a GDQ or something, somebody comes up and they just exclusively talk bad video games at me. I'm like, who are you? Second, I don't like, that's not my life 24/7. I need a breather.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need a breath. So yeah. I just, and then, you know, if I go to a furry con, guess what? There are a lot of people who show up and they're like, let's talk about furries the whole time. And I'm like, no, can we talk about like how much work sucked like last week? I want to talk about normal person things too. I don't just want to talk about one thing.
You went to a furry convention, so I mean, you are going to get people talking about furry stuff.
Yes, but not exclusively, Tempestral, okay? I need people who aren't just tunnel vision one thing, you know? Talk about other things, talk about other interests, be a rounded individual instead of...
I am afraid you have chosen the wrong fandom for that.
No, I haven't. I have made plenty of friends.
That's not true. I can't actually say that with any level of honesty. I mean, the furry fandom is, well, I should say subculture, it's not a fandom, is pretty broad, really, all things considered.
Big Honkenberger, get out of chat right now. How do you still have a sword next to your name? You're not a mod to me anymore. No ooh-wooing, no oh-woing, none of that crap here. JK, you can maybe occasionally. On occasion. And every once in a while, I, like, going full out, like, weird gay is fine for me. But it's just like, it's the exception, not the rule. That's not going to be how I am, like, 24/7, you know?
That's the sword of Damocles. Okay. You say that's a sword of Damocles, but like you literally can't usurp a channel owner.
I mean, I could usurp Big Honkenberger. Who is Damocles?
That hurt.
I can't say that with a straight face.
Damocles.
Yeah. Yeah, what did Damocles do? Apparently he was with a dinosaur of Syracuse or something like that, and...
Yeah, KM's got 2 animals in their name. You should be worried. No. Sonic 3 and Damocles? No!
Sonic 3 and Damocles. That is perfect. I want to see that. Okay.
Sonic 3 and Damocles.
What even would Damocles do in the game?
The episode where you get to the end of the game and that's grim, actually. The implication there is grim, that you get to the end of the game and Eggman falls on his own sword.
Oh,
or I suppose
so
he falls into his own radioactive...
Story?
What?
From what I'm seeing, okay, Damocles basically...
Damocles.
I'm saying it Damocles, I don't care.
Americans.
Went to the King Dinosaur explaining that the king had a lot of power, blah, 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 and Dinosaur offered to switch places with Damocles so that Damocles could taste fortune firsthand. He agreed, and... Dionysius. Yeah.
I was like, dinosaur. Oh.
Basically, it's like Prince and the Pauper, except that the prince who turned into the pauper murdered the real pauper. Is that right?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't think so, but I'm not.
So there was a sword hanging above the throne, held only by a single hair of a horse's tail to evoke the sense of what it is like to be king. Though having much fortune, always having to watch in fear and anxiety against dangers that might try to overtake him. And then Damocles begged to be allowed to depart because he didn't want to be so fortunate, realizing that with great power comes great possibility of death. So there you go. Yeah, I think
I just sort of assume that any foreign word is going to be mispronounced by Americans. Sorry.
I actually know how to say it.
No, I trust that you do. I mean, you like I imagine Greek names probably come up an awful lot in English literature.
Quite a bit. Why? Because we suck at imagery and symbolism. We're like, hey, we have this powerful guy. Let's go ahead and make his middle name Zeus. Symbolism. Woo! It's like nobody cares about.
Or like Atlas or something.
Yeah. Atlas Shrugged. Like Atlas punched in the face by symbolism.
I tried reading that book because I didn't know anything about what it was about, and I was like, I don't understand this. And I read a summary and I went, oh.
Actually, you know what? This game, I'm gonna go ahead and say the Crow City of Angels. 90% chance that the main character has a stupid symbolic name like that, which, by the way, has a place in writing, but let me go ahead and look this up. Crow City of Angels.
I don't know about the City of Angels. The
His
Crow,
name is Ash.
Yeah, it's Ash. In the original, the Crow, it was a pretty normal name. It was like Chris or something. It was
Ash Corvin. Guess what? Corvos are crows. Literally, in his name has a freaking Latin word for crow. Okay. Symbolism.
Eric Draven. Yeah, it's just a normal name that with a little. It's a cheesy comic name to a certain degree, but there's no real symbolism in the names.
Symbolism. Let me say, no, this is completely about crows because he's already dead. Blah, 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 blah.
No, I picked up on the Raven part, you guys. I got that. Eric de Raven, yeah, I know.
Let me say, I actually am way... Look, I got a master's in English, okay? I'm actually very okay with symbolism. It's just that occasionally I feel like it's a little bit on the nose. And this is a bit on the nose. But even if it's on the nose, there are going to be some people who miss it.
Absolutely.
Like Papyrus and Sands. There we go, full circle. Tempest,
we made it full circle.
Papyrus and Sands.
So now that we've gone full circle, can we take a look at this circle-shaped room that our players are fighting in?
You mean that we've seen pretty much half of the 90% of the match so far?
Yeah, I actually wasn't expecting this level to. I wasn't expecting them to die so much in this like one room. I guess they have made progress though. This room's pretty brutal. Like these guys do a fair bit of damage, but I guess as long as you have a weapon, like they keep giving you arms.
By the way, you ready for me to blow your mind, Tempestral?
I am. One second, let me take my headphones off.
Okay. Wait.
Yes.
Little Mermaid, Ariel. Her name comes from Aria, which guess what is a song.
Because she's a singer.
Little Mermaid loses her voice. It is all about the song, voice, oral sounds of Ariel. So there you go. Bam. Mind blown. Clean up the room. Grab a mop, everybody.
I've been mind freaked.
Yeah.
Oh, my mind. Oh, my bean. It's been freaked. Oh, yeah. Anyways, I'm fine.
And guess what? I actually didn't think about that until literally like 1 minute ago. So
cool.
Yeah. It's just as soon as you think of any sort of character and their name is like not Johnny, then they probably have some symbolism attached to it. Okay, that's just how media works. And then if they're named Johnny, you can tell that the writer was an amateur because literally, oh my gosh, let me tell you, Tempestral, the amount of improv scenes that have the name Johnny, Timmy, Susie.
Yeah. I see.
I would say that the great majority of improv scenes have those because they're the easiest names to come up with.
There's a lot of Bobbies in fiction from a certain time period. Like there's a lot of Bobbies in films from like the 80s and 90s, I noticed. This is in movies specifically.
Yeah, I'm also
don't
going to
know
say
why.
that
Books do.
although, look, you don't have to spell the name exactly the same as the word. Yeah, Ariel is spelled different than Ariel, than Oral. That's fine. Ash Corvin isn't directly Corvo or Corvid. And Draven is Raven with a D on the front. They changed the spelling of Raven for that one. From Raven to Draven. Okay, so let's talk about this game for once.
Yeah.
What are we seeing? What is happening here?
Well, they have brought limbs to a gunfight as Polk. Oh, sorry. Who brings a gun to a limb fight? Asks Polk in the chat.
Probably a better choice, you know?
Oh no, it's a rocket launcher. I didn't realize this dude had a rocket launcher. I didn't get that far. So, God, that's a problem. So there is a strat for avoiding these dudes that was discovered by Isalamiri, who won the previous match of this game earlier this year, which is that you can bait the enemies into coming towards you by ducking, because the enemies do know they can't hit you with ranged weapons while you're ducking. So, Polk asks, who brings grenade launchers to a limb fight? Well, you know, also Indiana Jones, isn't it, actually? Because, well, it was a rocket launcher. Remember that part in the movie he points a rocket launcher at the bad guys? He just has a rocket launcher for some reason in Raiders. That was pretty awesome.
Who brings grenade launchers to a limb fight? As it turns out, as soon as somebody brings a grenade launcher to a limb fight, it's no longer a limb fight.
It's no longer a limb fight.
It is
It's
now a grenade launcher fight. Yeah, and you're losing. Yeah. The crow is heavily armed. I hate that. Codeman, you are not allowed to say that the crow is heavily armed. Maybe you just ask them to lend a hand. Oh, lend a hand.
No. Oh, no. I guess, you know what, we should actually dedicate some time to talking about this game. So if people don't remember from the last time we showed this off, which was earlier this year, this game, it like controls very poorly. I'm sure you can tell by now. You turn slowly, you run slowly. The game doesn't like operate at a reasonable speed at all. And there is a PlayStation version which runs a little bit faster and is more sort of acceptable in a lot of ways. Like this version of the game has like weird layering issues, and I can't tell if that's like a hardware thing as well or if it's just our emulator, even though we're using the most accurate core. So like the game doesn't play well. Part of the issue is that you rotate really slowly. Your buttons B and C are punch and kick respectively. And by pressing forward, back, or side to side, or neutral, while pressing those buttons, you can do different punches and kicks. And it also depends on the way you are facing relative to your opponent. So if you're facing a little bit to the side, and versus your like basically perpendicular to your opponent, and you hold one of the side directions and then hit kick, you'll do a roundhouse, which is, I think, the best standard attack.
I've got a dumber question for you. Why do a lot of the enemies have an on-off switch logo on their back?
I don't know, and Ecdysis also brought this up during his speedrun. I didn't even know this until I saw the speedrun. It's just sort of there. I don't know if the developers thought this would be like threatening, or if this would be like...
Is it from the movie?
I don't think so. I haven't seen it. I heard it was pretty bad, so I didn't watch the movie. I haven't seen the original Crow. I haven't read the comic either, although I've heard the comic is very worth reading if you're okay with some pretty heavy material.
Oh, it's symbolism for power. They have power.
Oh my God. It might be. That would be really awful.
Actually be, and I would hate that.
Yeah, the original movie is 90s goth fun, and then the remake is, well, we can't get Brandon Lee because he died making the last one, so let's make a really subpar sequel.
Oh,
yeah, I think it was like a totally different creative team.
Anyways, I'd say that this match is going about as expected for the Crow.
Yep.
Yeah, we are starting partway through because that's the theme of this round, Reoccurring Nightmares New Game Plus. We didn't start at the beginning, but I believe Polk has made it into the weird, like, Egyptian-like door that Trambles is in front of.
They both have.
Oh, okay.
That's where the dudes with guns are.
Well, I don't want to go in there. Just go around.
Sadly, yeah, this game requires you to kill every enemy. As far as I can tell, nobody has yet defeated the dude with the rocket launcher or grenade launcher. So
I think there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the grenades.
So the stuff that's happening on Tramble's screen is a big part of how hard this game gets way harder towards the end, because a lot of enemies start showing up with guns towards the later half of the game.
How far into the game is this?
Actually, I said a later half, but this isn't actually even halfway through. This is level 3 out of. This is
3.
Password 3, not level. Password 3.
Oh, okay. That's
which is they give you fewer passwords than there are levels, because some levels are like 2 zones long. So this is password 3 out of 9, one of which is a boss fight. So we're just before halfway through the game. Oh, and the rocket comes and just bonk.
It's always that rocket. Yeah, I'm taking a look at all of the passwords. Both Borderland. Okay, there are quite a few passwords here. There's a Stickman mode and a Giraffe mode. Stickman is probably what I would play with.
Yeah, I don't know how to access those cheats in the Saturn version, actually. I didn't find those when I was looking for passwords and cheats on the Saturn version of the game, but the Saturn version of the game is on the whole not as well documented as the PlayStation version.
Sacrifice.
I personally was a big fan of Hey Clown Face.
Well, one of the reviews that I saw was like, hey, do you like being called a clown face? Because if so, you're gonna love this, based off of how often you're gonna be hearing it.
Yeah.
Dun-dun. Dun-dun.
One of the other things about this game that can make it sort of awkward is like the fixed camera angles are obviously really poorly placed and just don't really give you a clear view of the action.
True.
You can definitely make clear looking action with fixed camera angles. Obviously, the Resident Evil games at least had a few entries that did that really well, but you have to really construct your scenes well.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I found the manual as well as like the lore here. You want to hear the intro story here? Now that we're 36 minutes into the game.
Yeah, and on the 3rd level, sure.
Ash. Once. Okay. Once you thought the worst thing that could happen was to die, until a bunch of twisted punks killed you. Now you know the truth. There are worse things than dying, like having your soul trapped between the worlds of light and dark, the worlds of life and death. Now your non-life takes on a desperate urgency you never knew when you lived. You must find and destroy those who cast you into this hellish half-lit zone of junkies, bikers, and killing illusions. Sarah, a kind-hearted artist, is the only one, the one person you can trust. But can she trust you? Rely on you? You've got to destroy scum like Curve and Nemo, deal with the menacing Kali, survive the surreal Day of the Dead festival, and, with a little help, vanquish Judah, the evil being who started your soul spiraling into this ungodly nightmare. Yeah, that's it. So I assume we are on the Kali one, just based off of the aesthetics.
I actually don't know if there is a boss to this level, and if there is, who it is.
So where are we? What is this place?
We are in a graveyard. This is the graveyard where we find.
Tell.
Yeah, I know. This is the graveyard where we find our own grave. And then it's sort of next to a church, and it's like sort of in a state of disrepair, obviously. And we wander in, And then inside the church is actually a whole other level.
This is so... Okay. Just a second. Let me go ahead and try to process my brain real quick.
Oh, look
Where's
at that.
the graves?
I think Shambles has figured it out. How to... Oh, never mind. To crouch to bait the dudes over. At least he seems to understand that he can.
He is doing
there we
that.
go. Very nice. That's the strat.
Crouch
So neither of the
trick them.
players seem to have seen or remember anything from the earlier match this year, which is good.
Bruh. I do... Oh no. I was looking at settings and there was music level, but for some reason I read it as muscle level, and I got really excited. I was like, you can adjust your muscles? But no, it's Sega Saturn. They wouldn't invent muscle adjustments until like at least PS2. I'm being dumb. I'm being very dumb. Dumb. What am I looking at? I don't know. As it turns out, we get to see like the same 4 screens over and over again because that's what this game has to offer. There's a reason this game got bad reviews.
I was not expecting to only see these 4 screens. I was like, you know, if we start on the boat, the players are never going to get anywhere because they don't know the basic controls, and immediately they're dealing with 3 dudes with guns. But now, I mean, they are making progress to the screen with guns. It's just a matter of actually defeating the dudes with guns, which can be hard. The thing that makes it really difficult is that when you get close to an enemy, you immediately start attacking, right? So like in Perfect Weapon, you had sort of an engage and a disengage button, which were different buttons for some reason. Mm-hmm. And like you could choose to go out of combat mode and run away at full speed and then take up a stance and like reposition and get a better camera angle. Yeah. In this game, you must shuffle around. You cannot move. You can't like move freely. You're sort of stuck in this really awkward shuffling animation, and the enemies move slightly faster than you do. So the guys with guns will just pick up a gun, shoot it, and if you're at point blank range, they'll shuffle backwards, and you can shuffle forwards, but you have to pause for a microsecond to actually get an attack out, and that gives them time to ever so slightly retreat over time. So you usually can't finish off an enemy with a gun from point blank range if they're trying to get away from you. It's really frustrating.
So I do have some questions about the HUD because we're 41 minutes in and I still don't understand it. So we've got, okay, I believe your health on the left and the enemy's health
Correct.
on the right, although there are multiple bars on your health.
Lives. You have 3 lives.
Oh.
If you die, you just get right back up again. Although it's not really like a life so much as it is like a guaranteed knockdown when one bar depletes.
What about the enemies?
Weird. The enemies, the enemy health bars will split into multiple parts if just like yours.
If there are 3 enemies, there are 3 parts.
Precisely.
What about
so you can
the
see
eagle?
like on Tramble screen. Oh, so that's a crow. Essentially, the game's called The Crow, City of Angels.
I wouldn't expect them to get the bird right, but okay, go ahead.
All right. So it caws like a crow. Okay. The crow.
How does it caw? It doesn't have a mouth. It's just a metal bird.
The crow. Okay, I was really confused about it.
Tempestral thinks that the bird caws, huh?
That
a metal bird caws.
You can't duck under the rocket launcher. That's so tragic. I thought you could. Oh no!
Okay, sorry, I interrupted you. What does the crow do?
I didn't know what it was doing until Hedgemaze pointed it out to me. And the crow indicator is lit up until you get you start to take too long. And then when you specifically the crow icon at the top of your HUD, not the ones that appear on the ground. Those point you where to go and tell you that you've defeated all the enemies in that area. The crow on your HUD will fade and like disappear, and when it's disappeared, the enemies all get harder because you're not going fast enough.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, they deal like 80. They deal like 80% damage by default, I think, is something like that. And so they start dealing like 20% more. It's ridiculous. the game just gets harder, but like there's literally no way even a good player, like I think even Ecdysis who in his speedrun manages to get through some levels before the crow goes away, but then in other levels doesn't, because the time limit they set for you is just completely unreasonable. I would need to go back and validate that claim, but I'm fairly certain.
So, yeah, the thing is, like, shovelware from like an acclaimed developer, not from Acclaim, but from a really great developer, can still end up being very problematic, like have lots of problems. This is from the developers of a freaking Ren and Stimpy game, okay? And considering that The Crow was a movie, and this was probably made specifically to release with the movie, they just had to crunch and get it done. And even if the game had large flaws, which the game has large flaws, they had to ship it. It just had to ship. And you know, at that time, they can't say, we'll fix it after. There's no way that they can pump out updates to the Sega Saturn. It's just not something that's even remotely doable at that time.
I wonder though. I wonder if that's really the case. Because you could, like, action replay carts existed. It was definitely possible to modify some sort of console behavior.
Yeah, but if you have to buy $50 like add-on to a console in order to roll an update out for The Crow, you probably have too much money.
That's fair. Sorry, yeah. Yes, that is fair.
So yeah, it's all like, I don't really blame the developers for this. Honestly, these developers probably needed to work on games that didn't necessarily have a time limit, because they probably had decent ideas. You know, they probably had okay mechanics that they could put together. It's just that having a very strict window that you have to release in causes a lot of problems. And management, oh my gosh, okay, management, I understand that management is required for companies, but at the same time, they can definitely destroy video games just because, you know, they are unwilling to bend it all. And I'd rather release something late and good than something on time and trash.
Yeah.
Or even late and okay. Like, late and forgettable is better than on time and absolutely abysmal.
I don't know about that. I'd almost rather release something that was like a complete dumpster fire, because then people talk about it.
I mean, I'd rather play something that's a complete dumpster fire, but yeah, I want, like, if I'm gonna have something on my resume, I wouldn't put this on my resume, like, at all.
No, because that's justified.
Yeah, you aren't, especially if you're like one of the lead designers, not because you're bad at designing, just because the company did not allow you to do a good job designing, you know? And yeah.
I think it depends on the game. I think I would want a game. There could be a scenario where there's like a really awful game, that I would still rather put on my resume than a forgettable game. It would have to be a pretty particular scenario.
Well, but, yeah, and it depends on what your role is. If you're an artist and the game, like, this game's art is actually relatively good. I feel like an artist could put this on their resume and probably land a job, you know? The game is terrible, but, like, if you were specifically somebody who does, like, level design, maybe this isn't the best thing to be known for.
Yeah.
Or someone who does music. The music is very forgettable. Like,
wow.
Except it's a little bit environmental. That
dude on Shramble's screen just shot over Shramble's head and killed his buddy. Which was really convenient. Shambles may put himself into lead here if he can manage to get this guy down.
Your knees.
Oh man. Well, you're not going to do it like that. You can't block a gunshot, man. That's unfortunate. I'm getting a little worried now because I've been paying attention, but I'm not really sure who's in the lead.
Yeah.
It is unclear to me, and that's a little concerning.
Yeah, that's true.
It is winner's bracket. The stakes are still relatively low for these two players.
Yeah, I do see people saying that, having a forgettable game is worse than having a terrible game, and it is. I don't completely agree with that, and it mostly, like, we have looked at so many Kuso6rande games and seen this was the last game that they worked on, because guess what? Yeah, I don't know if they were fired or if they had left their job or something, but over and over and over again, that has been the case. And then some people, depending on their role, have managed to put out a lot of games after that.
Yeah.
Yes, one of the programmers for this, by the way, every other game that they worked on was an NHL game.
Oh boy.
And guess what? This isn't going to tarnish your reputation on NHL video games.
No, it's not.
No. Yeah, so everything is very situational. It's just, I know that if I was working on a game, I would want people to like it. I would want to put something out that people enjoyed. And, even if it's not necessarily a resume thing, like, I'm glad that we're here in Kuso6rande and can enjoy the worst things in life. We love bad video games around here, but I wouldn't make a game for me. I wouldn't want to make a game for people to crap on. I'd want to make a game that people would genuinely enjoy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry, blah, 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 blah. Lots of blabbing. Where is Shambles? Looks like an indoor cemetery.
This is just sort of to the side of the main door, I believe.
I don't even know anymore. Polk, almost dead. The guns. Turns out guns are pretty good.
Stop walking to the guns. They both keep doing this where they'll walk into the guns. Just bait the guy over so they both know now that you can duck. Great, awesome. Got the enemy to kill the other dude.
I love it. Just duck and let them kill each other.
An indoor cemetery? You mean a crypt? Yes.
No, but there were headstones. There were tombstones. Like, usually the tombstones are outside, right?
You're right, because in a crypt, you don't have headstones. Instead, you have the corpses of your loved ones sort of arranged in funny positions.
Wouldn't they be really smelly?
Acting out scenes, etc. I've never been inside of a crypt. I try to avoid graveyards.
Why would you have them act?
They depress me.
What do you think they do in crypts? You just have them lay there. You don't do anything else with them, Tempestral. You put them down in a horizontal position and you never think about them ever again.
I don't like the accusatory tone you're taking with me and the implication that I'm doing anything with bodies.
Like, do you make it look like they're dancing or something? I don't want them to dance.
Is this a new room? Hold up. Is this a new room that Polk is in?
Polk's dead.
Was that a new room? I think it was.
I think it might have been. 3 Hemsons.
Shambles.
Yes.
Okay, that was a new room. So Polk is barely in the lead at 52 minutes in, and Shambles is really close behind. If Shambles also currently has at least part of 3 health bars. So we'll go into the crypt. Shambles has a huge opportunity to take the lead here.
Well,
here he is.
Bang.
Yeah, this is nice. Don't get killed by those rocket launchers.
Let's see what happens.
The direction explosions send you in this game is, as far as I can, it's not random, but it really feels random sometimes. It is silly.
The camera is not really doing any favors to the play. Oh my gosh, shot in the face.
I'm gonna just say at this point that, like, Shambles has killed literally any of the enemies in this room, and as such has made more progress.
If this is the room that Polk was in, then sure.
This is the same room. Yeah, This is the same room. I think we can review this again, but Polk, I don't even think killed anyone, or maybe one dude. Shambles killed at least 2.
Oh boy, we've got the flipping and the flopping. How is this match exciting?
This is pretty close.
This is weird.
I mean, it's exciting because we've spent 50 minutes talking about other things and not paying attention, and then 3 minutes paying attention to the match. And so it's fresh and exciting to us still because we're new to it. Maybe if we talk about something else, it'll be fresh again the next time progress happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Polk was killed basically instantaneously, so I didn't get any enemies down.
Yeah, honestly, there's not much time left to make progress. Polk has already almost taken a full life, or basically a full health bar of damage.
Oh man,
I might even consider just resetting and starting back over for one final push.
Yeah. I feel bad too because Polk put one of my games as their favorite in the survey.
Polk, are you listening to me? If you're listening to me, you shouldn't be, but that is a good call.
Polk was listening to us. I'd be able to hear it. Well, no, we'd be able to hear it. You'd be able to hear it too.
Well,
I sure hope you're not. Maybe they.
You can separate audio in OBS. Yeah. And if you haven't, Tempestral, we need to teach you.
I have a greater audio knowledge than I think the vast majority of streamers. Not to puff myself up here, but I know a fair bit about it.
Yeah, but there's really no way that we could know if somebody is listening to us.
That's true. You're right.
Yeah.
My assumption is that everyone has a very basic audio setup, unless I know otherwise, because that is what the majority of people use. It's not a criticism. That's what most people are doing. Most people are using basic, like they're not using like an audio.
Everybody, Temp is still showing up. I'm not trying to be basic.
You know what's funny is the last time we had this game on, we also talked about audio hardware. What is happening? My assumption is that no one who participates cheats. That's my basic assumption, is that nobody who participates cheating, especially not Shrambles or Polk, both of whom are beautiful people.
Yep. Honestly, like if anybody who has played in multiple tournaments, like suddenly we had one recently, but at the same time they were already a little bit shady. And we found out that they were doing the same things that we told them not to do. And
every year we have one or two people. Every year we have one or two people. It happens.
But in the bracket, seriously, the people who make it to the bracket, they are really dedicated and honestly, put a lot of work into playing a variety of games since they don't know what's going to pop up. They haven't played this game before, so it's completely new to them. It would be absolutely it's unimaginable. Polk's not going to be cheating. Shramble's not going to be cheating.
People who make it to brackets are not, do not make it a habit of being dishonest.
Yeah, as it turns out, we've seen Andy play games like in person at GDQ and still demolish everybody because that's just Andy.
Man.
Holy crap.
I'd love to do an event like this at GDQ. That would be so fun.
Maybe helping
to run something like this again, like the Invitational on the Hotfix or like the Mystery Tournament showcase that was done. There are so many, like, how the Mystery Tournament showcase, there was a what was it? It was Donkey Kong Jungle Beat.
Yeah, they had Jungle Beat, and essentially
with the bongo controllers.
They hadn't played the bongo controllers before, and they had to learn how.
So like I know of some pretty atrocious controllers or games which have like unique control schemes that would be really fun if I could source the hardware.
I love that spinning kick. It's so good. Oh,
it's good. It's the best move in the game. Best move in the game. And people in chat have remarked that like the speedrun uses one move. That's the move. It comes out fast, it's reliable. It has a really wide hitbox. It doesn't do as much damage as a held weapon, but it is reliable, and it comes out fast enough to stun lock the vast majority of enemies. So that's the move you want to use.
Okay, chat, you're mentioning in-person Kuso6rande. I would love to have like a 3-day sort of tournament in person one day where everybody, you know, we get a hotel, people just sleep there and we have it going. I wouldn't want to do it 24/7 because honestly, marathon style 24/7 really gets me tired, but I would love to have like maybe 10 to 12 hours a day of tournament matches and then people just chilling and having fun. Yeah. And have that for 3 days until the tournament's over. We got to make it happen one day. Kuso6rande. Yeah, exactly.
I'd have to buy some actual physically like bad games. Some of those games are rare and like difficult to find or like expensive.
Yeah, at the same time, you know, I still really believe in emulation when it is possible to do so with older video games. So Polk is dead. Shrambles, no way to get back to where Shrambles was.
No.
Let's let
Polk
that
is
last
dead. Long live Polk.
30 seconds. Let's watch the ending cutscene here.
I'm sorry, Dad. Now we can never be together.
Now we can never be together. It's so silly. Yes.
I didn't hear the last line though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You were too busy laughing at "we'll never be together."
How does Polk know that? Well, Polk says, "GG, congrats, Shrambles."
I think Polk just has a feeling.
Polk just sort of assumed that. You know, it's funny. In all the games that I've won, I felt like really good about it. Typically, and the games, some of the games where I feel really bad, I've won. But like typically, if I get a sense, there's a sort of like feeling you get, like if you're really doing well, you can tell, you know, if you've got momentum. But both these players struggled for a long time.
Oh yeah, they're coming into chat with us, by the way, and do not know who took which place. So there is Polk and there is Shrambles.
Hey.
What's that?
The Crow City of Angels for the Sega Saturn.
Right.
Okay, so both of you made it to the same room. Okay? Literally the same place. However, Shrambles killed more enemies in that room and thus takes the victory.
Yeah.
Is this really a victory?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
If we the game's not the one to beat us, really.
I mean, considering that we talked about the game for like 5 minutes, maybe it's a victory.
That 100% checks out.
We talked about other things for 15 minutes.
Yeah, like, I'm not even gonna blame myself this time. Tepistrol didn't even try.
I was like constantly redirecting you towards the game. What are you talking about?
Wow. It's just that neither of us.
It's the worst match I've ever run.
It is.
Okay, so do either of you want to talk about this game? You want to say anything about it?
Like what hasn't already been said? The screen transitions that stop you, every movement, the fact that you enter an area and you're immediately shot with a gun unless you press something within like 2 frames.
Yeah.
And then like when you decide
take control on with a brawler style here where you're fighting 2 people every single time until you bring guns to it.
I really love getting shot by a grenade off screen from an enemy that isn't even there.
Yeah.
With no way to dodge, no way to move, no way to.
There are in fact evasion moves, but I didn't tell you what they were. There was a backflip. You can do backflip by pressing down, but even that I think wouldn't have saved you from the grenade. That was
How would a backflip save you from a grenade? No.
If it was fast enough. The grenades aren't very fast.
Sure.
It doesn't matter.
You want to regain your health too, because.
Yeah, the health. It was an interesting system to have 3 health bars in one, but yeah, I don't know. Well, We dunked on this game pretty hard because, you know, I don't really blame the devs, and I think individual developers had some decent things come through. Some of the art and graphics, they were fine. They were good for the time. Some of the as far as I could tell, the frame rate and the stability of the system, that was fine. It's just other things were not good. There's definitely worse in existence, but it's just as a whole package, this is pain.
It feels like somebody tried to make an experimentation and thought that this would just sell on the license alone. They tried something, saw if it would work, saw if it would sell, and that's it.
Yeah, is there anything redeemable in this game, or any game that you would say you'd rather play this than?
I mean, everyone kept making the Time Commander comparisons in our chat.
Okay.
In our race chat, and I actually own a copy of that game.
Okay.
I would rather play that. That game is like 10 out of 10. Beautiful game.
Oh.
Wait, are you better?
I don't know if I agree.
Oh my gosh.
I had to test that game for Kuso6rande, and I thought it was suffering even on medium or on normal difficulty. I don't know, man.
I mean, yes, it is suffering, but
it's more inspired, certainly. The artistry in that game is certainly more apparent than it is in The Crow, so I'll give you that. I think it's a more interesting game.
Yeah,
it's more functional, let's say.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, like, the biggest problem that I have with this game, like, absurd difficulty, I can deal with. Dark Souls, guess what? I had fun with Dark Souls. And other games, you know, it completely makes sense. The biggest problem with this, though, is that even with the absurd difficulty, there's no amount of skill will necessarily save you. You're going, well, I mean, unless you're a speedrunner of this game, I guess, but, like, you have to cheese everything, and being a good player without cheesing is going to get you dead. Get you dead? Get you killed.
Yeah.
I got dead, everybody.
You did.
Yeah, I done got dead.
You're gonna get dead. You get dead there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that is one of the critical flaws of this game. It's just, it doesn't reward good gameplay.
No, the fact that if you pick up a gun, you get blasted down, your gun is gone. You're pretty much SOL at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was my favorite part. Just watching the gun explode as soon as you pick it up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the game over sequence was my favorite part. Now you'll never be... Oh, yeah, your daughter being like, oh no, now you'll never get to be with me, as you sort of fade into hell or something like that. It's so good.
Yep.
She's so disappointed in her dead father.
That is a boy, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's your son.
Well, okay. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. I have a hard time sometimes. Anyways,
we can't blame you. I think we all need a little bit of brain bleach.
Yeah, Shrambles, I'll go ahead and say good job at, like, somehow making a little bit more progress, but honestly, it was pretty much a tie between you two. It was...
I would have played.
Yeah, victory by a little bit.
You might say pixel victory at that point here, but I think whatever this case here, the game is the one who beat us.
Oh, yeah.
We both took a beating on that
Good
one.
job, developers, for defeating it. And Acclaim. Thank you, Acclaim. Well, I think that's all that we have for Kuso6rande this week, and thank you so much, everybody who has come out yesterday and today. Remember, if you wish to support this stream and keep seeing more, you are always welcome to drop bits, subscribe, or send a little tip through one of the links. I believe it's below the stream on my main Twitch page. However, if you are unable to do so, just sharing the love of Kusogi around with everybody is completely welcome. So let's go ahead. I want to read a friend who is, he's a furry dude who is playing a game of marbles? I don't know what the marbles on stream, I guess. I don't know what this is, but it's marble racing, it looks like. Do we have a good raid message? Was it Blam?
Blam.
What was the raid message that we were going to do from King Rudy?
Sucks.
Oh, Rudy sucks. Oh, Buff.
Rudy
Buff.
sucks.
I like Buff. You can also spam Rudy sucks if you want, but I'm going to go with Buff. Go say hello to my friend Harbus, who I actually saw at a furry convention years ago.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's where we met. We ended up playing the werewolf mafia-like game, and we were both werewolves, and we murdered everybody. It was great. Okay, raid everybody, spam Buff, and I will see you all later this week, for sure Tuesday for Don't Make Us Bored. All right, see you later, Kuso6rande, Tempest.
Later.
See ya.
See you around.
Bye!